Welcome to the Lost in History channel. Be sure to subscribe and like so you don't miss out on more videos like this one. John Lennon appears signing an autograph for Mark David Chapman in front of his home at the Dakota Building in New York City. On the same day, the tragic event that took his life would occur. Queen Elizabeth II had two cousins named Nerissa and Catherine Bowes-Lyon, who had severe disabilities and lived away from public life, a fact that only became widely known in 1987. A collision between two trains took place on the Bay of Quinte Railway in Ontario, Canada, in 1892, resulting in a dramatic scene recorded in this historic image. The photograph shows damaged cars and twisted tracks, revealing the force of the accident. Visitors look out over New York City from the observation deck at the top of the South Tower on June 21, 1984, facing north toward Midtown Manhattan. The image shows a skyline full of skyscrapers and the city's characteristic movement, seen from one of the highest points in the world at the time. In 1956, the statue of Joseph Stalin is pulled down in Budapest in a symbolic act that marked the beginning of one of the largest popular uprisings in 20th century Hungary. The image shows citizens gathered around the fallen monument, celebrating its destruction as a rejection of the political control imposed by the Soviet regime. French soldiers in the trenches in the Alsace-Lorraine region of France on June 16, 1917, appear wearing the original colorful uniforms of World War I. In 1967, the commander of an M48 Patton tank scans the field around him through a viewing scope, in a record that shows the daily routine of military operations during the conflict in Vietnam. In 1945, American troops are seen in Venice, Italy, in a moment that symbolizes the end of a long period of conflict and the beginning of European reconstruction. The image shows soldiers walking through historic streets near the canals, observing the city's distinctive architecture. Children lie inside an iron lung in 1950 before the development of the vaccine against polio. The machine was used to help patients with respiratory paralysis caused by the disease, maintaining their breathing through mechanical pressure. A traffic jam near the Brandenburg Gate in 1989 shows East Germans crossing into West Berlin shortly after the fall of the Berlin Wall. The moment marked the end of decades of separation between the two German states and symbolized the beginning of a new era of freedom and reunification. A train passes through a densely built residential area in Kensal Rise, London, in March 1921, revealing the contrast between urban expansion and everyday life. The brick houses sit very close to the tracks, showing how the growth of the railway helped shape British urban space. The fashion of air raid shelters in London, England, in 1939 is shown in this image, which presents people dressed with elegance, even in times of uncertainty. The clothing combines practicality and style, with long coats, hats, and accessories adapted for use in underground spaces. This photograph shows people gathered in 1942, taking part in a metal collection campaign to support industrial production efforts. The record presents men, women, and children contributing metal objects such as household items and vehicle parts. Protesters linked to the Socialist Unity Party of Germany take part in a demonstration during the Berlin airlift in 1948. The image shows a group of people gathered with banners and signs, expressing support for the Soviet bloc amid the political division of the city. Texan Audie Murphy became the most decorated soldier in the history of the United States during the 1940s, in recognition of his exceptional service during the global conflict. In 1946, a woman receives a fine for indecent exposure at Rockaway Beach in New York City, in an episode that illustrates the strict public dress codes of the time. The image shows the swimmer being approached by a police officer while wearing a swimsuit considered bold for the social standards of that period. Buzz Aldrin takes a self-portrait during the Gemini 12 mission on November 12, 1966, in an image that would become a milestone of space exploration. The photograph shows the astronaut floating in space with the reflection of Earth visible in his golden visor. The Apollo 12 crew is shown in 1969, the year they became the second team to land and walk on the surface of the moon. The image presents astronauts Charles Conrad, Richard Gordon, and Alan Bean smiling before the mission that marked another step forward in space exploration. On October 27, 1962, Soviet officer Vasily Arkhipov made a historic decision by refusing to authorize the launch of a nuclear torpedo against a United States ship during the Cuban Missile Crisis. The Statue of Liberty is unpacked in 1885, after its arrival in New York, sent from France as a gift of friendship between the two nations. The sculpture pieces, created by Frédéric Auguste Bartholdi and engineered by Gustave Eiffel, were shipped disassembled in large crates and reassembled on Liberty Island. The Chrysler Building in New York City is under construction in 1929, representing the height of Art Deco architecture and the city's spirit of progress. The image shows workers on scaffolding and steel beams, with the Manhattan skyline in the background. A photograph of the Walt Disney Animation Studios, taken in the late 1950s, shows part of the production of the film 101 Dalmatians. The image reveals artists and animators working on the frame-by-frame drawings that would bring the characters to life. Albert Einstein, in May 1946, teaches physics concepts to students at Lincoln University in Pennsylvania, United States. It was the first American university to grant degrees to African American students, and Einstein accepted the invitation to lecture as a gesture of support for racial equality and access to education. In the United States, Jesse Owens worked at a gas station while he studied at Ohio State University. The image shows the athlete filling a car with fuel, a job he did to help pay for his education. The Winter Olympic Games of 1924 take place in Chamonix in the French Alps, marking the first official edition of this sports event. The image shows athletes and spectators gathered in the snow with imposing mountains in the background. In the early years of Nintendo, in 1895, the company still focused exclusively on handmade playing cards. The image shows craftsmen working carefully at wooden tables, printing and painting each card by hand. Telephone operators in Tokyo used the new View phone device, made by Toshiba Shibara Electric Company in 1964. The device was a technological innovation that allowed the caller and the person answering to see each other in real time, something considered revolutionary at the time. A mobile telephone vehicle drives through Toronto in 1983, representing an important technological advance in mobile communication. The image shows the van equipped with antennas and electronic devices used to demonstrate the operation of the first wireless phone systems. The premiere of the film The Godfather took place at the Warner Theater in Pittsburgh in 1972, marking one of the most important events in film history. The image shows the outside of the theater lit up, with posters and lines of moviegoers eager to watch the production directed by Francis Ford Coppola. Marilyn Monroe and Jane Russell are seen in 1953 during a break in the filming of Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, in a moment that reflects the glamour and friendship between the two Hollywood stars. The historic meeting between reggae artists Peter Tosh and Bob Marley and rock icon Mick Jagger took place in Jamaica in 1978, marking a symbolic moment of unity between two major musical worlds. The image shows the three musicians together in a relaxed way, reflecting mutual respect and admiration. Nancy Pelosi, 20 years old, appears next to John Fitzgerald Kennedy, then 43 years old, in 1960, in a meeting that reflects a meaningful moment in American politics. The image shows them smiling at a public event, symbolizing the enthusiasm and hope that characterized that period. Franklin Delano Roosevelt appears young and elegant as a member of the New York State Senate around 1913, in an early stage of his political career. The image shows the future president of the United States with a confident expression and determined posture, already reflecting the charisma that would make him a central figure in the country's history. The first Tour de France took place in 1903, and Maurice Guérin won the opening stage, keeping the lead until the end of the race. The image shows cyclists riding along dirt roads and French villages, followed by curious spectators along the route. On November 13, 1963, young fans gather at a Beatles concert in the city of Plymouth, in a scene that reflects the beginning of Beatlemania in the United Kingdom. The image shows excited girls screaming and smiling as they wait for the band to appear on stage. A teenage girl is shown at an Elvis Presley concert at the Philadelphia Arena on April 6, 1957, in a scene that captures the vibrant energy of American youth of the time. The image shows the young fan in the crowd, emotional and captivated by the presence of the star, who was transforming popular music. An aerial view of Hollywood in 1926 reveals a landscape in rapid transformation, marked by the expansion of film studios and the urban growth of Los Angeles. The image shows wide streets, buildings under development, and the hills in the background, already recognizable by the famous Hollywoodland sign in its original form. A drive-in restaurant in Los Angeles during the 1950s shows the height of car culture and American social life of that era. The image shows cars parked side by side, with car hops serving customers directly at the windows of their vehicles. Arnold Schwarzenegger appears in a weight room in 1979, in a moment that reflects the peak of his bodybuilding career. The image shows the athlete focused during his workout, surrounded by classic iron equipment and mirrors that define the style of gyms at the time. Robin Williams is shown in 1979 at the beginning of his career, in a moment that captures his contagious energy and authenticity. The image shows the actor with a lively expression and spontaneous gestures, qualities that would soon make him one of the public's most beloved performers. Keanu Reeves appears in a photograph taken in the mid-1980s, when he was beginning to gain attention as a young actor in film and television. The image reflects the casual and relaxed style typical of the time, with long hair and a calm expression that would soon become part of his personal image. Harrison Ford is seen in a kitchen during the 1970s, in a relaxed moment before the height of his fame in Hollywood. The image shows the actor in a simple and cozy setting, reflecting the natural and casual style typical of that period. A vending machine for women's stockings installed on the streets of Stockholm in 1951 shows the rise of convenience and modern ideas in the post-war period. The device allowed women to buy stockings at any time of day, reflecting changing urban habits and consumer behavior. Fashion at Beverly Hills High School in 1969 reflects the vibrant and diverse style of the late 1960s, marked by bold colors, psychedelic prints, and youth culture influences. Students showed looks that combined freedom and individual expression, following the social and cultural changes of the time. A skater weaves between pedestrians in Midtown Manhattan, New York City, in 1979, standing out amid the heavy street traffic. The scene captures the urban spirit and vibrant energy of the city in the late 1970s, a period marked by cultural diversity, freedom of expression, and the growth of metropolitan life. Advertisements in the past were direct and to the point, as shown in this scene in New York City in 1946. The billboards and posters carried short and clear messages designed to catch attention quickly in the fast-paced rhythm of the city. Kaiser Wilhelm II, Emperor of Germany, is seen smoking a cigarette in 1913, 1 year before the start of World War I. The photograph shows the monarch in a relaxed moment, contrasting with the formal image usually associated with European royalty of that period. In the 1940s, the ice fountain on Washington Boulevard in Detroit became one of the city's main winter attractions. The water flowing from the structure would freeze because of the low temperatures, creating an impressive natural sculpture. Charlie Chaplin was photographed next to Winston Churchill during the filming of the feature City Lights in 1929 in the United States. The image brings together two major figures of the 20th century, each known for powerful influence in different fields, cinema and politics. Actress Tippi Hedren has her cigarette lit by a crow during the filming of the classic The Birds in 1963 in the United States. The image shows a curious behind-the-scenes moment from the film directed by Alfred Hitchcock, which would become one of the greatest works in suspense cinema. During a break in the filming of 2001, A Space Odyssey, in 1965, crew members enjoy a moment of rest between takes. The image shows the calm and focused atmosphere behind the scenes of one of the most innovative productions in cinema. A traditional hairstyle from Rwanda is displayed in this photograph taken in 1923, representing an important cultural symbol of the African country. The style, created with detailed geometric shapes, was used to express identity, social status, and community heritage. Writer Stephen King signs a poster for a fan during a literary event in 1985 in the United States. The photograph shows the author in a relaxed moment, surrounded by readers who are excited about his work. The evolution of Coca-Cola bottles over 120 years is presented in this image, showing the changes in design since the beginning of the brand. The photograph highlights the different shapes, sizes, and materials used in each period, reflecting technological and stylistic changes. Police officers patrol the New York City subway during the 1970s, a period marked by major social and urban changes in the city. The image shows the officers watching passengers and providing security on the platforms and in the train cars. Actress Tina Louise poses at home wearing short shorts in the late 1950s, showing the style and elegance characteristic of that period. The image captures the relaxed yet polished mood of women's fashion of the time, marked by simple cuts and a natural look. Moscow in 1969 appears in this image as a vibrant city in constant transformation, reflecting the urban and technological progress of the time. The wide streets and monumental buildings show the characteristic architecture of the period, with large avenues and solid-looking structures. Employees at the seafood store Ocean in Moscow work serving customers and arranging products in 1972. The image shows a busy and well-lit environment, with counters full of fresh fish and shellfish. On the shore of the Sea of Tajikistan, located in the former Tajik Soviet Socialist Republic, in 1975, people enjoy a sunny day by the water. The image shows families and friends relaxing on the sand, some swimming and others talking under colorful umbrellas. A store operating during the final days of the Soviet Union in 1991 portrays the atmosphere of transition and uncertainty that marked the country in that period. The partially empty shelves and customers waiting for service reflect the economic hardship faced by the population. A man undergoes a vehicle inspection test in Hungary during the 1980s, a required procedure to check automobile safety conditions. The image shows the driver and the inspector evaluating the car's performance in an area set up for technical examinations. A man wears wide leg trousers, known for being popular among students at the University of Oxford in 1930. The image shows the elegant and distinctive style that defined British academic fashion of the time. The Soviet mining truck Belaz 540 appears in operation during the 1970s, symbolizing the advance of industrial engineering in the Soviet Union. Designed to transport heavy loads in mines and construction sites, the vehicle stood out for its toughness and ability to perform in rough terrain. Nena von Schlebrügge, mother of actress Uma Thurman, poses for Vogue magazine in 1958, representing the elegance and charm of international fashion of that period. The image shows the model in a classic photo shoot with soft lighting and refined composition, typical of the magazine's productions. A monument is unveiled in the former Ukrainian Soviet Socialist Republic in 1948 during a public ceremony that brought together officials and local residents. The image shows the moment when the structure is presented to the public, symbolizing pride and the cultural identity of the region within the Soviet Union.